Hi everyone, this is Julianne Victoria of Through the Peacock's Eyes. Welcome to my channel. So this video is sort of a double VR, a triple tag video. So I'm gonna sort of like my towards the end of the year depth year update. It's a VR to Ouroboros channel, or some people say Ouroboros, and the hashtag is Tarot Binge. And the third one is the hashtag Shopping for Tarot, and that was, I believe, started by Lady Knight of Avalon. So let's start with the depth year. So 2019, many of us have hopped on the depth year bandwagon. Many of us are going to continue into 2020, and that includes me. So I put out my two tarot decks, Children's Tarot and the Medieval Sigils Tarot. I'm also working on a couple of other decks. So I'm really diving deeper and deeper into my creative projects, which is awesome. I'm really excited about that. And a big part of that, being able to do that, is working with time management so that I have the time, even if it's 10 minutes here and 30 minutes there, to dive deeper into working on those creative things. Because as I work on my creative things, I dive deeper into myself. Especially when I did my workbook for my fine lines deck this year. It's called Traversing the Fine Lines. Like, I basically went through the process of working with all the fine lines. And the fine lines deck, the cards have like two words, like in love versus in lust. And so it's like working with the light and shadow aspects of all those terms. So I'm enjoying and really getting into the nooks and crannies within my own psyche as I do my creative projects. And then of course there's my writing projects. Right now I'm working on the expanded version of my astrology books, which I have here, Shedding Light on Jyotisha. It was just going to be adding in chart readings, sample readings, but I'm kind of retyping the whole thing. So it's grown. It's in itself gotten deeper, and it's helping me to get deeper into my own process and evolution in astrology as I work on this. So it's like all the creative things I'm doing are an extension and an expression of the depth work that I am or have been working on, because there's other writing projects too, like my book on schizophrenia, which is about my sister, but it's about schizophrenia. I really worked on it a lot at the beginning of this year, inspired by the depth year theme or process, and then it sort of stopped. And I'm kind of feeling the energy of getting back to that soon too. So there's all those personal creative things. Now for the depth year, a lot of people are cutting out shopping, especially tarot deck shopping. I've done a lot better this year. So when I was pregnant, I didn't buy any decks. It was very difficult for me to even look at tarot cards. It was like too much stimulation, just made me more nauseous. And then 2018, I kind of went on the tarot binge. It was sort of hey, oh wow, I'm really loving decks again, and oh, there's all these new decks out there. And I discovered the tarot community on YouTube because I was away from YouTube for a while. During pregnancy and a little bit after, and I was just like, oh, and everyone has all these like deck reviews and walkthroughs, and I sort of like went into that tarot binge. Now, so this gets to my second hashtag for this video. So it's by the channel Ouroboros, and I can't remember the woman's channel. I just figured it out. I just found her channel, which is awesome. So I'll have it linked below, her original hashtag tarot binge video. And she's a psychologist, and she discussed 4 reasons why people binge on tarot decks. 1, they're collectors. And I would include myself sort of as a collector, because I do buy some decks because I love the artwork and I want to have it in my collection without the intention of using it for clients. The second reason for tarot binging was that you're a tarot card reader. And that, some decks I buy because I realize, they'll be great decks to work with for clients for specific types of readings or just in general. And then the third reason was because people's YouTube channel does a lot of reviews and walkthroughs. And I do some of that, but I wouldn't say that's why I buy some decks, but a little bit, because I responded to her video like all of it, all her 4 reasons kind of applied to me. And those first 3 sort of fed into the fourth. The fourth reason people binge on tarot is to fill some sort of void. And I think it was filling the void of being away, apart from YouTube, social media, taking a break from working, from reading for clients while I was pregnant and a little bit after, and sort of like filling the void of not having worked with tarot for a while. Yeah. And so it was like it all came together as a sort of tarot binge, not excessive, but I bought a lot more decks than I ever thought I would have during that time. Now, this depth year of 2019, I definitely cut back. I realized, oh, I kind of like overdid it on the tarot deck buying. I got carried away. I got excited. There was probably a little bit of, what was it, FOMO, FOMO, fear of missing out, that I caught like a cold as I discovered like the tarot community last year. It was like late 2018. I'm like, oh, who are all these people? But I realized, oh, I kind of got swept in with the crowd and filled this void of having been away from it for a while. And I definitely had a feeling of wanting to catch up on all that I did not accomplish when I was pregnant and a little bit during my recovery. But I'm not feeling that anymore. Now I did somehow fall off the wagon and binged slightly on tarot decks around August or so, around my birthday. You know, we say to ourselves, this is our excuse. Oh, it's my birthday. I'll buy another deck. And oh, there's that one and that one. So I've recovered from that. And this past year, I did 2 huge giveaways, one to my newsletter subscribers, and anyone can subscribe. You just go to my website, Julianne Victoria, and subscribe, because I announce my specials there. And then one I announced through YouTube, and then I gave some decks, excuse me, to some friends, and I sold a few decks that were of pretty good value that I didn't want to just give away. So I've actually cleared out around 50 decks from my collection. I still have a significant amount. It's well under 100 now. And I might actually clear out some more decks. So I'm clearing out things from my collections because I think in my last depth year update video, I talked about how I'm getting more specific or more precise about the decks I want to use personally with clients, or for other reasons. So that is still like, I'm getting, the precision is still happening. Yeah, so I might give away some more decks, or if they're very, expensive ones, I might sell them. So I'm working that out. Like, I'm recovering from the binge, from the tarot binge. And I never said this year was a no buy year. I said it would be low buy because there are some decks on my list that I've been waiting for to come out. One a friend created, one I've just been waiting a few years for. So I'm not going to say I'm going to be no buy, because if I see that a deck fits my pickiness or my precision of what I want to work with and use, then I will get it. And I realize, I guess kind of before this year, I didn't think about giving decks away or selling them. So I can rehome a deck and not have like this massive collection. Not that I've had, I have my shelves. You'll see in my other videos, the shelves behind me. The decks have to fit there, and I have to be able to see them. They can't be so stacked I can't see them. So that's part of my criteria. Okay, so the third hashtag here is the shopping for tarot hashtag, and these are specific questions. And this, I believe, was started by Lady Knight of Avalon. I printed the questions up from her channel. That will be linked below as well. So the questions, and some of these I may have already answered. Number 1, what was the last deck you bought and why that one? So I think the last one I bought was the Philarkos Tarot. And so the last one I purchased. There's some I've received that I purchased before that, like you're waiting or it's a Kickstarter. But the last one I bought was the Philarkos Tarot. Why? Because I love the imagery. I think I said to Natalie at Sanskrit Blue, it looked like a cross between the Mary L and the Tarot of the She. And as I did some research on it, the deck was inspired by the creator's dreams. And I very much love the dream time if you've seen my Dreaming Moon series videos. So number 2, what's your decision process when you buy a new deck? So now it's, does it fit with my new precision or my new pickiness? Is it going to be an important tool, I think, for my own process, my own journey? Will it be a great deck to use with clients? A little bit, but not as much as before. Do I love the artwork and do I want to add it to my collection? But I still want to be able to use it. Yeah, that's kind of it. Yeah, so I'll research, I'll look at pictures online. I usually will not look at a walkthrough unless I'm unsure about the pictures I've seen before getting the deck. But it's really that first impression of seeing some of the cards or seeing someone do a reading with them, though I don't really have much time to watch a whole lot of readings right now. That first impression, does it touch my soul in some way? That's really important right now. What are deal breakers in a deck that keep you from buying it? If it looks slapped together, like the artwork was rushed, or actually right now I've realized as I've gone through my decks and I've given so many away or sold some, that I'm not liking, or I guess I'm not appreciating decks that are created from artwork that has already been made and transformed into a tarot deck. I'm really liking, but as I figured out through this process, I like decks where the artwork is created specifically for the deck, that it's an expression of the creator. That's really important. So I've noticed I don't think, I'd have to go back and look through, but I've given away all or almost all of my low Scarabeo decks. And I think it's because they take artwork that was created for art and made it into tarot. And it's cool, the decks worked, but it just isn't fitting in with my deck pickiness or precision right now. Yeah. And then also deal breakers. Collage decks are not my favorite art, though I have a few and I love them. If it's a collage deck, whether digital collage or handmade collage, yeah, it has to look not like a third grader did that. And I think of that because I read that on Facebook somewhere where someone said, why do some collage decks look like my third grader did it at school? And I was like, that is kind of true. But that's just my personal preference. Yeah. Other deal breakers. It's a deck that is sort of like a copy in a way of several other decks already out there. Yeah. Yeah, almost carbon copies with a little twist. Right now, no interest in those. Okay. Number 4, little white book or big guidebook. I don't often read either, but now that I've gotten very precise with the decks I buy, the guidebook or a little white book, if it includes the creator's inspiration or process of creation, I want to know what is put into the deck. And that also adds to why I want decks where the artwork is created specifically for that deck as an expression of the creator or a certain inspiration of theirs. Yeah. Okay. But often I don't read either, not front to back. Some I will read up what they say about certain cards depending on the deck. But I prefer to mostly just work with the imagery that comes in. Okay. Or comes on the deck. So number 5, do you have new deck rituals? How do you break in a new deck? Usually I do my meditative shuffle. I break them in through shuffling, through that meditation shuffling. To me, that's also clearing the deck of anyone who's handled it who might have left an impression on it. Have you ever been disappointed after getting a deck because it felt different than expected? Yes. Bonus question, have you ever been pleasantly surprised by a deck after getting it? Yes. Yeah, I'm just going to leave that there because I think there's been a few decks for both of those categories. Yeah, it's disappointed. What's popping into my head is decks that like feel flimsy. It's not necessarily that it's a thinner card stock, but there's like, because thicker card stock can have this where it feels flimsy and it doesn't give me a good riffle. And then pleasantly surprised by a deck after getting it. Yeah. And what's coming to my mind is fairly recently, it was a Kickstarter. I got the Friar's Delight Lenormand. And it's like luxurious feeling. I was pleasantly surprised. Okay, number 7, do you interview decks? Not usually. I've done a few deck interviews with decks that, yeah, I get this feeling like, am I supposed to use you? And I made a video for one I did for Spirit Keepers Tarot because I had that feeling. I'm like, okay, now what am I supposed to do with you? Yeah, okay. I'll link that on screen here towards the end if I can find it, if I don't have too many things to link already. Okay, number 8. Otherwise, you can just go to my channel page and it would be under the deck tour playlist. 8, do you ever buy decks for a specific purpose, only using it for that one? Yes, I've kind of talked about that. Sometimes personal work, personal growth, shadow work, or for clients. It's a great deck for clients or for both of us. Number 9, do you differentiate between decks you buy for yourself and decks you would use for other people? Yes, so I've already covered that. And number 10, what is one thing you wish deck creators would do more of, or stop doing? Don't rush. Don't rush the artwork. Don't rush the creative process. Get feedback from the public. Stop doing sticky decks because you can make nice, glossy, smooth decks. And I know the gloss, the shiny decks, that's supposed to protect the artwork more. But there are some out there that are not sticky, that they don't stick together and you can shuffle them nicely. And do that without them being so thick, it's really hard to riffle shuffle. Because I really love riffle shuffling. I actually have cuts on my thumbs right now because I've been shuffling so much lately. Okay, so those are my triple hashtag double VR video. Wanted to get that out there. It's a very busy month, and if I didn't do it now, I might not get to it. So thank you, everyone. Hop on one of these hashtags if you're interested. And thank you, everyone, for watching, for liking, for sharing, for subscribing, and I'll see you back here soon.